class, so we're going to go over the thumbnails of the color project. And first thing I'm going to go over is the materials that you're going to need. So you're going to want to have several sheets of hammermill paper. You're going to want to have colored pencils. This was given to you with the kit. You're going to want a graphite pencil. You're going to want your compositional basis at 4 inches by 4 inches. So that's the photograph that you outlined, or the shape drawing if you chose that route. And then you're also going to want a color wheel. And if you go to the color lecture that's posted on Canvas, and I'm going to be posting the lecture slides as well, you can see that there's a color wheel there. There's also a lot online. Just Google 12-step color wheel and you should be able to find one. So we're going to talk about mixing colors using colored pencils, since this is what you're going to be doing the thumbnail in. And we're first going to talk about how to control the hue. Now, in some cases, you may simply have the hue you want already in the colored pencil box. But oftentimes, there's a hue you want that you don't have in the colored pencil box. So you gotta mix colored pencils together. So for example, let's say you want a yellow-green. If you want a yellow-green, then what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to find two hues that are on the left and right hand side of the yellow-green. So green and yellow. And you're gonna mix these to get a yellow-green. Okay, you're wondering like, well, how do you mix them? What you're going to do is you're going to, and this helps if it's the pencil's a little bit at an angle, and you're going to do overlapping marks, and you're going to go a little bit light, okay? Because if you push really hard like that, then sometimes it can be difficult to place the colored pencil anymore. It's gonna be difficult to place any more colored pencil on top of that. Like the paper's already saturated with the colored pencil. So just do a light coat and then do another light coat of the other color. And then what you could do is kind of go back and forth a little bit. Creates a new hue. So you can see how combining these two hues together creates a new hue. Okay, and let's say you have, let's say you want an orange. What you could do is you could combine red and yellow. Those are on either side of the hue of orange. So red and yellow can make orange. Okay, so let's say you want to adjust, the value. If you want to make your color darker, so let's say you want to make a dark green. You're going to get green. Okay, and you're going to add black to it. And you get a dark green. So if you want to make a color darker, you add black. And if you want to make it lighter, you add white. And there's the original color, there's it with black added, and there's it with white added. So let's say you want to adjust the saturation, which is how light or dull a color is. So let's say you want to make a duller violet. One way you could do that is you could add the complement, which if you look at the color wheel, the complement of violet is yellow. So you're gonna apply about 75% violet, okay, and about 25% yellow. So just go a little lighter on the pressure with the yellow. Okay, and you'll get a duller violet. If you add them in equal quantities, you may just get a neutral color, or neutral color. Alternatively, you can add gray to the color. So apply some violet, and then come through, and then add some gray. You see how that makes a duller violet? But let's say, oh, well, I want a light, dull violet. Then what you could do is you could add a little white to that. And that'll lighten up the value of it. Or let's say you want a dark, dull violet. And you could start with violet. Okay, and you can just and then you can add a little gray. And then darken it up with a little black. Maybe a little more violet. Okay, and you get a dark, dull violet. So basically, if you want to adjust saturation, you have two options. You could add the complement, a little bit of the complement, or you could add gray. Just realize that you want to add gray of the same value, unless you want to change the value of the color. I'll show you how to actually do the thumbnails now. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your compositional basis and apply some graphite to the back of it. Okay, you're going to want to place it on a piece of hammer roll paper, and then get your tape. And like I said, make sure that you put it on your clothes, you know, kind of like this. Okay, and then pull it up so it's not super sticky, because then it could possibly tear your paper, and that would be bad. Okay, and then you're just going to transfer the contours to the paper. And you're going to want to transfer the graphite each time. You're going to want to put a little extra graphite on the back of it each time you draw on this. Now you're going to be using the same one for all of your thumbnails. So you're going to do 2 to 3 for each color scheme. And, you know, hypothetically, let's say I did the complementary color scheme, the analogous color scheme, and the triadic color scheme. So then I would do 2 to 3 in the complementary color scheme. I would do 2 to 3 in the analogous color scheme, and then 2 to 3 in the triadic color scheme. Okay, and with it, obviously within each color scheme, there's many different variations. So within the complementary color scheme, I could do a design that primarily has yellow and violet, or I could do a design that primarily has blue and orange, or red and green. The same thing goes with the analogous color scheme. I could do one that has blue, violet, violet, and red, violet, or red, orange, and orange. Okay, there's many variations, and you're gonna try some out. So I'm gonna, like I said, for this one, for the example I'm showing you, I'm gonna do a complementary color scheme, and I'm gonna use magenta, which has a hue of roughly red-violet, and I'm gonna mix these two together to make a yellow-green. Okay, because yellow-green is the complement of red-violet. And like I said, and I'll repeat again, I want you to see color schemes as a starting point, and as long as about 60% of your colors follow this color scheme or based on this color scheme, then you're free to explore outside of that. Especially with the thumbnails, I really want you to play and experiment. You try things out, and if you see if they work or not. If they don't, then you don't use that thumbnail. Okay, so this is the point of experimentation and play. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm just gonna try this out. I'm gonna make the shadows magenta, which is a hue of red violet. Basically, it's like we're doing a coloring book. So, we're a little more structured here because we're basing on color schemes. And you don't necessarily have to film them perfectly yet. If you want, you could just kind of put some little splotches. I could put, and then just kind of see what colors you want to use. So you don't necessarily have to make everything, neat right off the bat. And especially because it's a thumbnail, it doesn't necessarily have to be neat. I'm gonna throw a little blue right in here. And you're thinking, whoa, well, blue's not part of the complementary color scheme. But like I said, you could play and you could experiment. As long as it has 60% of the colors, complementary color scheme, it'll count. I don't say experiment with, the full capacity of the color, or I would say experiment, with the other, properties of color. Experiment with the value, experiment with the saturation. Let's say maybe I should try. I'm gonna experiment and try this out in a duller magenta. So I'm add a little gray to it. See how I like that. So, and I'm not going to finish it up, but you can see how this could progress. So, I could do, 2 to 3 of these for the complementary color scheme, and then I go on to a different color scheme and base my color choices on those other schemes.